What's up, everybody? Squirrel Man's back again. I make these videos in the middle of the night. It's like 2 o'clock in the morning, I think, because I work nights all the time. But what I want to say in this video is how many of y'all, and I know a lot of y'all feel like you're stuck between a rock and a hard place, like it's between like you working so much, but you can't take care of yourself because you feel like you just don't have the time. Let me tell you, dude, there's always a way. There really is. You just haven't figured it out yet. Like right now, I'm trying to nurse this freaking injury from wrecking a motorcycle a couple months ago, and I still got to go to work all the time, and it sucks, you know. Uh, so that's kind of the point of this video. What is more important, making the money or fixing the injury? And a lot of you are going to be like, well, I just don't have a choice. How am I going to pay my bills? I get it, dude. But what I'm trying to say is there's always other avenues of making money out here, you know? Maybe you'll make a little less, but you'll still be getting the bills paid. But at the end of the day, my point is you are your biggest asset, you know? Without your health, what's the point in going to work? Without your health, what's the point in doing anything at all? You know, you weren't born into this world to be a slave to somebody else. You know, that's not the life I want to live. That's not the life I want you to live. Screw that. Who wants to do that? You know, like I said, you are your biggest asset. You should be your biggest priority. And a lot of you are going to say, well, I got kids. They're my biggest priority and I need to feed them. And I understand all that. But, you know, if you could sacrifice a little and still get that result, that minimum result that you need, you know, that's what matters. As long as you can work on yourself too, and work on your physical and mental health, you know. And I wish a lot of people would just stop and think about that, because before you know it, so many years has gone by and now it's irreversible, you know. I'm talking to my dad about making this doctor's appointment earlier, and he's like, do it now. He's like, don't do what I did. Don't put it off, because then it just causes long-term side effects or whatever, you know, physical side effects when you neglect yourself, right? And he's totally right about that. So I didn't want to make a real long form video about this. I try not to. I really wanted to get y'all's opinions on maybe something you're going through right now. And I try to feel for people with kids, man. I really do, because I don't have kids. I never had kids. But I always try to empathize and put myself in y'all's shoes. I try not to speak out of turn, because, you know, all my brothers got kids. I see what people go through. You know, I'm not blind. I know I can understand how things can be really hard sometimes. But at the end of the day, like I said, you are your best asset. And no one is going to give a shit about you more than you. I don't care what they say to you. They're not. No one's going to care about you as much as you. So if you're not doing it for yourself, I guarantee you nobody else is going to do it. Let me know what you think in the comments. Like, share, subscribe. Common sense ain't common.